Do?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
no, I try to make my life easier.
Dude, I literally thought he did that every time. It sounds great.
No, absolutely not. That'd be tiring. Anyway, roll it.
It's from a deep left field. That is gone. David Wright brings himself back into the line. To the Bulls now. No. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down. Fires caught. Touchdown! Garrett Wilson scores! Field. There it goes. See ya. Oh, what a
Welcome to the Any Podcast, where we talk about anything at any given time.
But the main focus is always New York.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Dill, what's up, bud?
That's not Chris. That's not Chris. Oh,
I'm not
no.
Chris. I'm a little bit better looking, a little bit better sounding.
Chris has
Not
been
as crazy,
replaced.
though.
No, we're just kidding. Special episode. We brought back our senior Giants analyst, Cuzzy Matt, back in the building.
What's up,
Here
everyone?
to make do or to come back and repent for his sins of what he said in the Bachelor Trip episode.
I have some confessions today. I have some sins to make up for.
He has to atone, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just get right freaking into it. Daniel Jones, huh?
Is this restarting with a year, or is it we just going right
Nope,
into
we're
it?
just gonna get right into it because
'Cause
I need to.
I have one
Okay, go
very
ahead.
serious
Go
statement
ahead.
to make, and this is 100% serious. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I learned something about myself this week that I am I'm a clown.
Oh,
I'm a clown.
Love that for
totally
you.
fell into the trap that I knew I said I wasn't going to get into last year, and I couldn't help myself. I am sitting here. We sat in a bathtub together, and I
yeah,
told you with a straight face that Daniel Jones was good.
yeah.
That's that might be the craziest thing I've ever said. I've
I
been right
mean,
about a lot of things.
Mel
That
Kiper
is not one.
Jr. has your back. I don't know if you heard like him.
Who does?
Mel Kiper Jr.
I don't know if I want him to have my back,
He's
honestly.
he's a college guy, so I know obviously he
He thinks
knows
he's still
football.
playing college. He looks great for college. Send him
But
back to Duke. I'm sure he'll do a great job.
yeah, he really tried to make the case that, he's still coming off of the injury and everything. It hasn't been a full year, and I mean both of us have had ACL reconstructive surgeries, and
I don't remember ACL surgery affecting my eyes that much. I don't
also
remember
they
that
don't
part.
they don't take a full year to come back from anymore.
No, dude. It's
Especially
been
not when
11 months.
not when you have multi-million-dollar treatment coming your way.
No,
Like
he is
I,
100. His knee
I
is
made it
100%.
I made it back to playing in 5.
I took a little bit longer, but that's probably because I'm fat. So,
Yeah,
I
in
also
good
wasn't really
shape when
playing sports. I was just kind of like going to work at that point because I was an
Yeah.
adult. Like, who
No.
tears their ACL as an adult?
I was training to that's hilarious.
Who does that?
I was training to try to walk on at St. John's at the time, so that's
Oh,
when
so
that
you were
happened.
like
So
in shape.
I
You
was
were trying to
peak.
do
Yeah,
things.
that was peak Dill. This is Marshmallow Dill. Two very different Dills.
We love them both, though.
Oh yeah, got to,
Yeah.
got to. But yeah, man, that was not fun for either of us, honestly, this past weekend.
Yeah.
Both New York teams started off like shit,
Yeah.
if I'm
You know
being
what?
frank.
There were some bright spots. Don't get me wrong. I after the game it was hard to find them, but the more I've sat on it, the more I've found them. But to be honest, man,
Please do tell. I would love to
I've
know what the bright spots are for the
let me
Giants.
let me start off with my frustrations first because I have to
Okay.
get that out first. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Daniel Jones. Like I said, I never thought he was going to be a great quarterback, but like he's a shell. He's
I think
incapable of making a
it's
decision,
Sam Darnold 2.0. I
right?
think
Like
he's just gotten the snot beat
incapable.
out of him. I think that once he gets a change of scenery, that things will improve for him because the tools are there.
That's what I mean.
It's all mental right
It's
now.
all in his head.
So
And like,
I think when he leaves the Giants after this season, that or maybe during the season, who fucking knows at this point.
yeah.
But I think once he leaves the Giants, hopefully he doesn't head to like the Cardinals or something like that, but he
Mhm.
heads to a respect like he does the exact same thing as Sam Darnold. Go to a
He'll start games somewhere at some point. Maybe not
yeah,
next year.
but go to a quasi contender, sit
Mhm.
behind a really good quarterback for a minute,
Yeah.
and then go to a team and see if you can take over.
Yeah, he'll be anybody that starts a game in the NFL will be a backup. Like that's just it would be
Yeah.
stupid not to. But I just it's so sad to see, honestly. Also, I want to throw one thing out there if there's Giants fans listening at this point, please, once guys leave did you see this where he was leaving the building and people were waiting for him to boo him?
That's a bit too much.
That's too much. Once somebody takes the jersey off, they're just a person.
Yeah.
Like that's ridiculous.
No,
Also,
I
did you
mean,
see the quote from the Vikings player? I think it
oh
was,
yeah, he feels bad for him.
yeah.
This is 2 years in a row that this has happened now.
Dude, I've never seen a quote like that. Like
Micah
a
Parsons
player
did it
being
last
like,
year,
we
basically.
we felt bad.
Micah Parsons basically did it last year. After they got mollywopped by the Cowboys, yeah, Micah on his podcast was like, "Yeah, I don't really know why they kept him in the game that long. They had 7 sacks on him. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that game. That was
yeah,
bad.
that was that was the season opener too.
That is something that I like Brian Dable. I don't think he should be on the hot seat, to be honest.
No,
I don't think
it's his fault. That was
No, I don't-
that was a
the play calls were fine.
that was a
just
player's
wasn't
fuck
throwing the
up
ball.
game, whereas the Jets game was the players did not show up,
Mhm.
but neither did the coaches. I don't think anybody. I think that they just dressed random people because I don't think any of those were actual Jets
The
players
Jets
or coaches.
played like they only played a half in preseason. And that's exactly what
Well,
happened.
none of their starters played in preseason, not one lick.
No, I think Garrett Wilson and them played for a half in
Did
the
they?
second game, no?
There's no shot they played a whole.
Aaron
half.
Rodgers didn't play at all. I know
They
that.
didn't play. I went to the Panthers one, the second game of the preseason, and I
Oh,
know
so
for
you're there,
sure.
you know.
I know for sure they didn't play that game.
So yeah, they look like a team that hasn't played together.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
practice is one thing, a game is a total different thing.
but yeah, back to your thing. I don't think that the Giants' loss was coaching necessarily. I think
No.
no. See, the problem
There was
is
open receivers on every play, and the offensive line was good.
Daniel Jones was just whiffing left and right.
He also was accounted for, like, he was the problem on like 3 sacks.
Yeah,
6 years in, you shouldn't be walking into sacks.
no 6. The 6 year part is wild because like we just got rid of Zach Wilson and he was 4 years in or whatever.
Yeah,
And
'cause
it's
you
just
realize like, oh, this guy doesn't have it.
yeah, but you realize that at the end of a rookie contract, like to get
Mhm.
2 more years past that is and still like that's wild to me.
I will still
that's
live
really
by the
shitty.
fact that I don't think that contract is a bad contract.
No, it was very smart on the Giants' part because yes, you gave him a lot in terms of annual, but one, it's not even scratching like top 5 money,
Not even
which
close.
thank God it's
It's
not.
an
And
average
two-
quarterback, which they thought he was going to be.
And 2, you only gave him a couple years and you have the opt out and everything, so you know you cut losses
It was
now.
a perfect win-win. It was either you were going to pay him $80 million for hopefully average starting quarterback, value, which he didn't end up giving you, but you had the out after 2 years, or if he proved you wrong and became a good quarterback and somebody that the team could rely on,
Opt in,
you had
extend
a
him.
2-year option for $40 million.
Yeah.
It really was a win-win. It doesn't look pretty, obviously, because you hear 40 million and it sounds like a crazy number, but Dak Prescott just got $60 million.
60, yeah,
That's insane.
for not doing really.
He's not even a
jack-
top
jack
5
shit.
quarterback. He's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. but
He's I don't know, great. He's extremely good.
he's extremely
I feel
good.
like that's the
a better word.
sliver under great. But I mean, he hasn't done shit. He hasn't been to a championship game, right? He hasn't even gotten that far.
No, never.
Right. So, yeah, that's a wild amount of money for somebody who's done just as much as Daniel Jones, honestly.
Yeah.
I
I got some other grievances to give out, though. You
Go
ready?
right ahead. Go
You
right
ready?
ahead.
Before
Air
I
your
get to the good
grievances.
stuff, because everybody's blaming Daniel Jones, and don't get me wrong, it is about 85% his fault. Because at one point they were down 14-3, like you were still in the game. Like what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Also the pick 6 was the worst thing I've ever seen. Brian Burns.
Yeah,
Did he even suit up?
No, I don't think he. I'm not sure if he
What
actually ever left
happened?
Carolina.
What? I think he went to the wrong game.
He might still be here.
He never even showed up.
Him
Like, where
and
was he?
Thibodeau didn't really do all
Where was
much.
Kayvon Thibodeau?
Your 2 bookends were
Oh,
nowhere to be found.
I got one gripe to come at you guys with, though, from last episode.
Okay.
I don't think Justin Jefferson only had 4 receptions that game. He had a touchdown, which I'll give
Was
you
it
that.
really-
I don't remember the play,
Was it
but
really
he only
only
had 4
4?
receptions.
It didn't. It's okay. Fair.
It wasn't great, but it definitely wasn't like he didn't like burn them. He was not the problem, which honestly kind of
That's
makes
totally
it worse
fair.
that Sam Darnold torched
Yeah.
us.
He torched you like legitimately.
Yeah, like
You know,
actually, he
like it
didn't just
wasn't
have the
like he
best
just threw it
wide
to
receiver
Jeff.
in the world.
It's not like he threw 5 yard slants to Justin Jefferson and Justin Jefferson had a 400-yard game.
Dude, at one point he was
No, he
like
carved
10 for
y'all up.
10 with like
Was
150 yards.
So I haven't had a chance to really watch tape. Did Banks cover Justin Jefferson exclusively, or was it like
No, they
a
don't
he
typically
covers the right
travel.
side of the? Okay,
Yeah, they don't do a lot of traveling, which maybe they should.
that's like
If,
Sauce.
you know.
Even though they say they want to change that this year,
Yeah, honestly,
Sauce
I
exclusively
I
plays on
don't
the
see
right
why you
side.
wouldn't, to be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend to be a football guru or, defensive guru, but like if you're playing, I don't think you should do it every game, but if you're playing a guy like Justin Jefferson and
No,
Jamar Chase, why would you not?
no, good is good. I
Yeah.
think it's a cop.
One
You
for just
can't.
for it's fun to watch.
I don't think you could be called great if you're not willing to constantly, not constantly, like every single play, but 85% of snaps in game where you're on the best receiver. That's the only way you're legitimately great, in my opinion. If you never leave the right side of the field, you can get schemed against. I mean,
Why would
Sauce
they
was
ever
still
scheme
great.
for him to be against you?
The Jets are kind of the one team, not the one, but they're one of, I'd say, 3 or 4 teams in the NFL that you can't do that with
Hmm.
because we have DJ Reed on the other side and we have Michael Carter the second in the middle. Like
Yeah, they got depth.
you can't out scheme that.
No, they have plenty of depth.
Which is why I look at the 49ers. They didn't throw much because I mean, they didn't have to. They were gashing our defense.
No, I was shocked by
Um,
that, dude. The run defense was
I'm not.
garbage.
I'm not. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll get into the Jets real quick. I'll let you get back to your stuff. But yeah, the Jets end up losing 32-19.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of like 90% of it was because the just outrun scheme, like their run scheme against us was honestly, no, I'm gonna pull back. That wasn't totally a scheme thing. They just got outworked. The Jets were they just got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
Second string running back. You don't love to see that, but the biggest
No.
reason, honestly, we let the 2 guys we let go. Bryce Huff, obviously, everybody knows about that, and he hasn't looked amazing in one game in Philly so far. John Franklin Myers, I think, is the bigger loss.
I didn't even realize he wasn't there anymore.
We traded him for like a fucking 6th-round pick.
Oh my God.
Don't understand.
What are we doing?
I'm really baffled because for every huge step Joe Douglas takes forward, he like falls back and stumbles 3 times back.
He's got to pull you back a little bit. He can't give you full
man,
hope.
It's really frustrating. So yeah, we traded him for effectively nothing, and he was our bigum that would stop the run. You know, he's somebody that you could throw on one of the edges. He can get to the quarterback, but his main thing is run defense. He was a phenomenal run stopper. And we let him go for no reason. They say that it was salary cap stuff, and everybody says it was for Hassan Reddick. Clearly
Yeah,
that hasn't
that worked
fucking
out well.
worked. Yeah, exactly. Who knows if we'll actually, we will get him. It'll be for 6 games. I don't know if you've heard about that whole thing.
No.
So he can still what is it? I heard it so long ago now I'm forgetting. If he plays 6 games this season, he qualifies to become a unrestricted free agent or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's
This
something
year?
like that. Yeah. He just has to play 6 games
I
this
thought he
year
had
and
another
he
year on
pays-
his contract.
if he plays 6 games so I'll look it up later.
Right.
I'll send it to you, but I learned about this like a month or so ago.
That's interesting.
But
Okay.
yeah, if he plays 6 or it only benefits him if he plays 6 games a season, basically.
Okay.
So like the
Yeah,
word
but
is like if we keep not rushing the quarterback that well, he'll just hold out till like week 10.
I mean, you're just making money off this at this point, you know?
Uh,
The fines alone.
you're not paying it. That
I know, but the fines in the preseason alone, it was like $2 million, something like
yeah,
that.
he's getting to 4 now because
Yeah, like, it's
the
insane.
game checks are damn near a mil.
$800,000 a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
It's
it's
insane.
insane. It makes no sense. Now, if the Jets acquiesce, he'll make all that back. They'll wash those
course.
fines away. But yeah, it's wild. But yeah, just to get back the game, I forget what I was trying to say. Oh, the run defense, John Franklin Myers. But also coaching was a huge problem. I was texting with Chris the whole game, and it was just extremely vanilla, predictable. But
Very safe.
I think it was and Hackett, that's his MO, and it was his
Mhm.
dad's MO even when he was the Jets coordinator.
Okay.
They play very safe, which I hate. Thankfully you have someone like Aaron Rodgers who is probably after this first game just gonna start calling the plays himself.
I would say so. He looks
Um,
frustrated.
yeah, so I think this game, and I mentioned in the last episode, was um, let's get out of this relatively scot-free. Healthy. Let's not
I
get
was just saying,
anybody.
I have a question to follow that up.
Okay.
Do you think that was the Jets' thought process too?
Yes.
Because it has to be,
I
right?
think that was mandated from like Woody Johnson, and everybody was just in unison.
Yeah.
Like, we get out of
It's the
this
only way it
with
made
Aaron
sense.
Rodgers,
Even
and
when they
that's
got down,
the
they just stuck to their plan and it
yeah.
wasn't working.
No, they bet. I'll say this: it better not extend past week one.
Like,
Anything I saw in week one, they better burn that tape and be like, that
yeah.
was all done on purpose. Week two, we are gonna fucking annihilate the Titans.
Yeah. I mean, you should. They're very beatable. I mean, Will Levis, if there's one quarterback
And
that
did
might look worse than Daniel Jones, it's
Caleb.
Will Levis.
Yeah, and if there's one that looks worse than that, Caleb Williams. He looks like
Dude,
he
you're
looks like a
ripping on
bad
Caleb
he
Williams.
looks like
He's
a
like
bad
20
rookie
years old.
already. I don't care. He looks like a
He's like
bad rookie.
20.
Well,
That being said,
when you're that cocky and everything, you got to take
yeah,
the bad with the good in terms of
that's what I was gonna
your
say.
criticism.
When you're that full of yourself,
That's
you
why I
got to
don't feel
really take
bad
it.
going at him. Because show me something.
Yeah,
You did literally nothing in your first game. You won because the Titans literally handed it to you.
yeah, literally
So,
handed it to you.
yeah. So, um, yeah. No, I'm not gonna like make fun of his fingernails or anything. It's all his play. Like, come out and show me that you can fucking ball, and you haven't
Dude,
done
you
that
can
yet.
paint
I
your
know it's
face if you
one.
want. If you come out and throw 3 touchdowns,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna care.
No, and that's not to say I think he's got the talent. And again, I think it's up here. He just has to
Yeah,
fix that, and that's absolutely possible. I think
yeah,
he's got the talent though.
it's all right.
But
I'm already
anyway,
looking at the draft next year. So
that's so
after
depressing.
week one, I think this is the earliest ever. You know what? I have to say, last year's first week loss against Dallas, the 40-0 game,
That definitely felt different.
it was rough, but I wasn't demoralized. I was like, okay,
That it also it was demoralizing in the sense that you expected maybe a loss. You didn't
yeah,
expect that bad of a loss.
yeah. We were coming off a playoff victory,
Yeah. So it was a
a
punch in
playoff
the gut,
season.
but it wasn't
So
like
like you're like, ah, okay, like just a bad game. It
right.
happens. This one, you're like, I don't. Chris said 0-16 last episode. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No,
I think
that's a Chris take.
I think yeah, 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 it is. I think most teams at least luck into a win. Even the bad
Yeah.
teams. This
Now,
team has
yeah.
talent. That's
I
the
love
problem. The
Yeah.
team has talent. You have a deep wide receiver room.
I was just
Malik
gonna say,
Neighbors
yeah.
looks legit, by the way.
Yeah, he does.
There was a couple plays too where he was open or Daniel Jones threw to him and it was too late.
Yeah.
Couldn't get him the ball. He holds on to the ball too long. But you have deep wide receiver room. Jalen Hyatt basically didn't play last week, and we still did, okay in that area. The offensive line actually looks pretty good. They
Did
ranked, I
enough. They
believe,
did
10th.
enough.
Yeah, they ranked about, I believe, 10th in time to throw.
Mm-hmm.
They can improve on the run block for sure.
That's more
But
than okay. 10th
Singletary
in
looked
time.
pretty good. I like Singletary, man. He's no Saquon, but he gets the job done. Always falls forward, always does his thing.
Saquon killed it in game
And Dexter
one.
Lawrence, man. Dude's an animal.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's an animal.
He's our Quinnen he's your Quinnen Williams in terms of like comp to us. He's just
better.
okay. That's not a
He's
discussion we need to
better.
have right now. We're here to lament on how bad of a week one we had.
I mean, we could talk about it if you want. The problem is D tackle is such a hard position to be like, oh, this guy's better. 'Cause, like,
Scheme.
there's no real
'cause of-
stats.
Yeah.
There's sacks and there's tackles and that's it. And
Unless
like
we
that, some
play
of it's
the
scheme.
exact same opponents, it's
Yep.
such a different. Yeah, it's hard to really compare.
Yeah. Also, if you're playing a 4-3 versus a 3-4, whereas Dexter Lawrence ends up being more of a nose tackle than I think Quinnen Williams does.
I was just gonna say they both play interior-ish.
Dude, I saw they were using Quinnen off the edge the other day too.
They wanted to
occasionally.
try to get something.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think I see Michael Clemens being able to replace John Franklin Myers in terms of physicality. I think he has it. Jermaine Johnson's fantastic. Will McDonald has a long way to go. I really wish Hassan Reddick was here just so that Will McDonald could develop correctly. But
Who's number 11? Jermaine Johnson?
yeah, Jermaine
I
JJ
like him,
is
man.
sick.
I love him.
He's so good.
I'm not a Jet fan. I don't hate the Jets. I don't think the Jets and Giants have the same thing going on as like Islanders, Rangers, or Mets,
No,
Yankees.
no.
I think there's
Because
a
we're
more,
your little brother, like very clearly. You guys won 2 Super Bowls in the last 15 years. We
we've
haven't.
also just been around for so long,
Yeah,
and we also don't play each other.
yeah. Which is we said that in I think the
Which we
Bash
should.
episode. That should be a Subway Series type game every year, no matter what.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
don't. I mean,
stupid that
it's
it isn't.
easy money. I don't understand why they don't do it. Anyway, that's a
If
whole
you can
different.
make it happen the game before the regular season, why can you not fit it in? Like it makes no fucking sense. Make it
Dude,
the
I have
last game
no
of the
idea.
season every year. That'd be fire.
Honestly, here's an idea for the NFL. They want to go to 18 games. All right,
Make
let's
the
do it.
18 game all
Rivalry
rivalry.
week.
Yep.
Rivalry week.
Yep.
That's like, because people aren't, not that people are going to be upset. Players are going to be upset for sure.
You split
But if you can
the
get fans so heavily on board like that, like
split the season.
rival,
Make week 9 NFL wide rivalry
yeah,
week.
yeah. Rams, Chargers. You got any of the Texas teams, the
You're
Florida
gonna have
teams.
you're gonna have some random ones because some teams just
Of course.
don't have true rivals. Like you're gonna have a
No,
Cardinals
you're creating
Jaguars.
some.
Yeah, you have like Cardinals Jags.
Yeah, but like,
Something random.
yeah, it'd probably be Cardinals, Raiders.
Really? Are they big enough
I feel like they're close enough. I'm thinking like
geographically?
geography.
Okay.
You
Well,
know,
that makes sense then.
I feel like you play the closest person to you that's not in your division.
Well, that's usually how the rivalry starts.
That's what I mean.
Unless it's like legacy teams like Packers Bears.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a perfect. I would say that one would probably, you can't really replace those.
No.
So listen, NFL, if you're listening,
Ravens,
rivalry week,
Ravens, Steelers.
Ravens, Steelers. They're in the same division, but that's one that outweighs it.
Mm-hmm.
Like easy.
Yeah.
I feel like this would be so fun, honestly.
I don't understand. We need to start a petition or something. I don't know why this isn't more talked about, especially
Right?
in the New York metropolitan area. It's
Listen,
funny.
baseball doesn't do a lot right, but they do the Subway Series right.
Definitely, definitely. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they said, "Oh shit, what did they say?" I just lost my train of thought completely. Jesus.
That's what you get in a late night pod. A lot of words not coming to you.
Oh shoot. All right. Hopefully it'll come back to me. Anyway, I'll
come
try to
back
move
to you.
on. I had a quick question though.
Yeah.
You wish you still had Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Because
Dude,
just
the problem is that like he's so good, but he gets hurt so easily.
yeah, he is
He
made
is
of
made
glass.
of glass. But
Um,
honestly, man, like you can't sit there and tell me that Drew Lock couldn't do the same thing.
as
least.
Tyrod or as Daniel
No,
Jones?
as Daniel Jones.
I think it could go either way. That's the problem.
Like you telling me Drew Lock can't run into a sack? I bet you he can.
oh,
At least Drew
I,
Lock throws the ball.
I think Chris and I were pretty on point when we said by week 3, like either
Yeah.
the Giants are going to go winless, which they aren't.
No.
Or I need to see their schedule again. But
They got
either
a couple easy games in there.
it was week 3 though. Chris said they'll go winless. I said they'll make a quarterback change by week 3.
Dude,
I don't
I
think
gotta
I
be
think they're
honest.
going to have him on a short leash.
I gotta be honest, if he comes out bad versus Washington,
That's
I
a
think the opponent matters too.
yeah, because that's a
The oppo-
that's a divisional game,
beatable
and that's
team.
not a good team. Yeah, so that's
It's a team he historically beats up
ooh
on.
man,
I
if
think if
he
he comes out
doesn't,
first half, he might not come back out for the second.
I could see that. If
You
they're
know,
down
I think
like
Dable is
if
fed
they're
up.
down
He
like
sees it too. He's not
16
an idiot.
nothing. If they're down like
Yeah.
16 nothing, a score like that, just enough to where it's far enough, like more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. I think that's going to be a real problem, honestly. But I don't know. You're going to have this conversation all season. Just pull the trigger. You know, if it's talked about, if you have to say every week that he's your starting quarterback, he probably shouldn't be your starting quarterback.
True. Yeah. That's
You
one
know?
of those things
At
where
least
it should
Tommy
just
DeVito was fun to watch. I honestly, man, I feel like either of those guys, and I would take this over what we currently got because my projections for Daniel Jones's year do not look good. Drew Lock could easily give you 15 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
yeah.
Like,
I think
honestly,
they
I'll
should
take
go.
that, man.
I think they should go DeVito just because that's more fun. And honestly, with
It's
what
so
Drew
fun,
Lock
man.
has shown me in the NFL so far, I don't know. I honestly don't even know why they signed him in the first place.
He had a couple good games for the Seahawks last year when he filled in.
Yeah, a couple throughout his career.
He's a
though,
gunslinger, man. He's a gunslinger.
Yeah, but he's not good. That's the problem. Like
No,
it's not
he's
like
fine.
Brett Favre where he's a gunslinger, but he's like hitting 70% of these.
Dude, I
Wild
wanted them to
passes.
trade for Jameis at one point.
That
Once
would have
the
been. I
Browns
think
said that he was
him
available?
in New York. I just don't know if that would have
Dude,
worked.
Give me 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. Let's do it.
Fuck, at this point,
Why not? You
at
know?
this point,
I'll take that over 2 touchdowns and like 12 interceptions.
if I was a Giants fan though, I was gonna say I'd rather see DeVito just because Italian, New York background.
I'll say he's from Jersey.
It's more fun. He actually wasn't complete shit.
Dude, I gotta be honest. I don't really understand why. Listen, I'm not trying to say there was people when he was good that were like, this guy's the answer.
No,
This guy's the
no.
No, he
He's
wasn't.
not a starting.
He
He's
was
nowhere
fun.
near a starting quarterback.
It was a fun story.
But at this
But, like,
point, let's just see what the fuck
What's the difference?
happens. If we
Yeah.
if you know how insane it would be
Get
if
some
the
cutlets,
Giants
you know?
if the Giants make a playoff berth with Danny DeVito as their main starter throughout the season, it'd be pandemonium. And if they
Yeah.
don't, and if they get a top 5 pick, that's probably what you were expecting anyway.
Yeah, that's what I
What do
mean.
you got? What do you got to lose? Daniel Jones is probably going to snap his neck in week 4 anyway.
Dude, he probably is. Honestly, no, that would be like the worst thing for the Giants, which is the other thing why I don't understand why they kept him in the entire game last week. I don't know if you know this about Daniel Jones' contract. He has an injury provision.
Yeah, he gets
If he
paid
gets
if he gets
hurt-
injured.
And can't pass a physical, next year is guaranteed.
Yeah. No, that's also why week 3 makes sense, because if he
Why?
gets the snot beat out of him in weeks 2 and part of 3, I just spit on my screen a little bit. Then yeah, I think that they're like, all right, we this guy can't get out of his own way, and we're not going to pay for him to learn how he could potentially get out of his own way.
Exactly.
Like without getting injured.
At
So,
that point, you're just costing yourself $40 million next year.
yeah, no, that's insane.
know?
I can't see. I think they're gonna have a very short leash with him. Which week is the Commanders? Is it week 3 or is it?
No, this week.
Oh, it's this one.
This week,
Oh,
Sunday.
okay. All right, so it might happen this week, ladies
Honestly,
and
man.
gentlemen.
The problem is, you know what's I feel weird saying I'm nervous about this because I don't believe in like rooting to lose.
Yeah, no, neither
I
do
really don't. I catch myself every once in a while, but for the most part, I'm a fan. I want to see my
Yeah.
team win, even if it's going from 1-15 to 2-15. You know,
Mhm.
I'm always going to root for them to win. But
Yeah.
at the same time, part of me is like, he is good against one team, and it's the Commanders. I don't understand it. Doesn't make
You
sense.
said that. I remember you saying that.
He has all of his best games. Look up his stat. I don't have them in front of me, but like
That's
he
wild.
has his best games against them. And I'm almost nervous that he's going to come out, have a great game, and
And then
buy
it's-
himself like 5 more weeks.
Yeah, no, I can't. I feel like if I'm the brass for the Giants, I'm shitting myself that he gets injured this week. Because like I feel
He
like
might.
I feel like after week 1, they're like, all right, we kind of got to give him another week. But if he gets injured, I think everybody gets fired from the front office, like
Maybe.
for allowing that.
Which
to
I don't
hap-
think would be a good idea.
No.
We're not doing another rebuild.
No,
Joe Shane has improved the talent on the team. He's improved the depth on the team.
I think
He's done
you
everything he needed
let
to
him
do.
go through his full plan. Just like I think people saying that Robert Saleh should be fired. I'm just like, who the fuck are you replacing him with?
That's the problem.
Hackett?
Well, what's his name?
Who lasted
Vrabel's
half a
out there.
season?
Oh, what did Chris call him? Nick Vrabel?
Yeah, Nick Vrabel.
Nick Vrabel? You out there?
Apparently, yeah, our cousin.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would love that. I think that's a match made in heaven.
Also, people are talking about Belichick for the Giants. I don't know if you saw that.
What, for 1 year? The dude's like 85 years old.
Dude's 80, and also you'd have to fire your entire front office because he's going to want to
Okay.
run the entire thing.
And he
And also, I don't know if you've seen his draft picks recently.
He's awful at drafting. Trust
he
me.
picked like a third round guard in the first round one year.
No, dude, trust me. I've paid attention to this obviously over the years.
Yeah,
Jets, Pats.
you have a vested interest.
He's shit at drafting.
Yeah, he's bad
his
at it 'cause
draft
he thinks he's
picks-
smarter than everyone else.
His draft picks haven't panned out in like 7 years.
He thinks he's smarter
his
than
early-
everyone
his-
else, and
yeah.
that's a problem. He gets in his own way. Speaking of
But
that,
he also, from what I've heard, he wants to also be GM. He wants full reign over all the operations, basically.
that being said, though, if there was a team that he would come back to without full control, it would be the Giants.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
Bill
That's-
Belichick loves the
He has the
Giants.
affinity. Yeah.
Loves the Giants.
All right.
He still thinks of them like they're in the 80s.
Don't we
you
all?
know? Yeah, we wish.
But what's it called? I did want to point out that the Jets are statistically screwed if we lose Sunday. Do you know why?
Why?
So, out of all the teams that have Super Bowl aspirations that start 0-2, I forget the exact percentage, but it's a fairly low percentage that any of them make it to the Super Bowl, and I think it was only one team has ever done it that made it to the Super Bowl. You should know which team that is. And
The
they have a
Giants?
very they have a
Which
very
one?
low
Oh
per.
07?
Year. Think it was the other one.
Okay.
I think.
Both of them were pretty
Um,
bad to start the year, so
yeah.
not surprised.
And it's a very low percentage that they make the playoffs in general. Like
Yeah.
very, very low.
Listen,
So
man,
if
I
we
do
start
think
off
they're
0
gonna.
2, we're essentially our season shot.
You always want the biggest jump in your season in your production to be from week 1 to week 2. You get the pass on week 1. You didn't play much together.
They're glorified
Figure
preseason
it out.
games. Yeah.
Yes, figure
Especially
it out
because now we're going from second best team in the league based on last year to arguably second to worst based on last
now. To
year.
a team in the NFL,
It's
the
whether
best
it's
team in the NFL, and just a team.
whether it's a legitimate NFL team is up for debate. But no, the
Yeah.
Titans got some players. They don't particularly scare me, but I think that this situation scares me.
Can I say something about the Titans real quick?
Very worried. Go ahead.
I feel like every player I've ever seen that's been good somewhere else, every
Started at the
time I've seen
Titans.
them put on a Titans uniform, straight garbage. I don't know what
Oh.
happens to them when
Or
they put that blue
or they
blues
start on the Titans and they go be good somewhere else. Like
Yeah.
a lot of Knicks players in the past.
Derrick Henry is literally the exception. He's the only one I've ever seen them draft and be like, "Oh, this guy's amazing."
Unless he somehow becomes the best running back in NFL history in Baltimore.
I mean, he
Like
could,
that'd be the only step up. Like,
but then again, they gave half their offensive line to the Jets, so
yeah. Yeah, so I think them firing Vrabel was one of the most baffling decisions I think in the offseason.
yeah,
Very weird. But I think this is one of those games where if you were at 20% in week 1, you notch it up to 70. Like, let's go out and ball the fuck out. Let's be a little
Ball
bit
out.
cautious about
let
getting.
Rodgers do what Rodgers does.
I want to see a pass actually thrown to Mike Williams. I don't know if you watched the Monday night game at all.
I watched. You
Okay.
gotta remember, my wife is a big Jets fan.
Oh, I totally forgot about
Yeah,
that.
she's
Oh, love that.
she's not a fake Jets
Shout
fan. She
out
knows her
Angela.
stuff.
Love that.
She was not happy on Monday.
Yeah, it was. I get what they were doing because they effectively did what they did with Breece Hall last year, which had him on a pitch count, and then week 5 is when they really let him open it up.
Yeah,
I think they're relatively going to do the exact same thing.
yeah.
So I don't foresee. I mean, hopefully they do. They're like, all right, Mike, you got like you hit somebody in a real game, like, and you got your feeling back. Hopefully they let him loose a little bit.
Yeah.
If I'm the coaching staff, I'm getting as creative as possible, even if it takes me out of my comfort zone, because you're playing you're coaching for your jobs.
Yeah.
Like, if this team is if this team is like 2-5 by week 7, you don't have a job anymore.
No.
I don't
Also,
care if the
dude,
original plan
where
was to get the
was-
whole season, but
Where was Malachi Corley? Where was
he
Braylon
came
Allen?
he came on the field like once. I remember specifically
Robert Saleh
one
made
time.
such a big deal about drafting this dude and then didn't use him the entire week 1.
That's what I started to bring up in the last episode. The Braylon Allen one is the one that perplexes
You like that I knew that, by
me.
the way.
Love
Non-Jets
that.
fan. I'm paying attention.
Love that. The Braylon Allen one is the one that perplexes me the most because your run game was not working with Breece Hall, which is
No.
baffling enough. But by the
They
time
knew it was coming. That's why.
by the time you get to halftime, though, it should be like, all right, let's just fuck around. Like, you're
Yeah.
down by how many points? Let's throw Braylon Allen in there just to give their defense a different look and a more of a bruising type running back. Let's see if
Yeah.
we can punch him in the mouth, get a 20-yard gain, and hype everything up.
You get to a certain point in the third quarter, you just start changing things up and seeing what works.
They didn't do that at all. I don't know.
No.
I really do think that they treated this more like a preseason game.
I think so. I think they knew that there was a good chance they weren't winning. They were on the West Coast.
Yep.
They were playing the best team
Everything was against them for this game.
in the NFL. They said, let's take it easy.
Yeah.
Let's get Aaron Rodgers some reps, get through the day unscathed, keep it close so that we don't get blown out. Speaking of blowouts, I have a question as just about you as a fan, because I know my answer. And could be the Yankees, it could be the Jets, it could be whoever, it could be the Panthers. When your team is getting blown out and you're watching, do you turn it off or you keep watching till the end?
Depends on when in the season we're at. I watched the entire Monday night game to the bitter
I don't.
end.
That wasn't a blowout though. That wasn't like an ugly game. Like they just didn't play well.
Before we got the garbage timeout with Tyrod Taylor to Lazard, it was 32 13.
13, yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so once yeah. All right. It was a little bit.
That's effectively
Yeah, you're right.
that's when it gets to blowout status. You're damn near
Yeah.
a 20-point lead.
Yeah.
No, I mean if you're talking we're at week 9, like if it was last year, the Thanksgiving game was my death knell. I didn't watch
Okay.
after halftime. I mean, it was Thanksgiving, so I'd rather be with family than to watch this garbage because I'm pretty sure we were down by like 30 going into halftime against
Yeah.
the Dolphins. Um, yeah, once it gets to, your you're nearly halfway through the season, things aren't looking good, and then you have a beatdown like that by halftime, yeah, stop watching. And I basically didn't watch most of the games for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I'm very much at
Dude,
a
I
point in my
honestly wish I had that. There's some
long
deep
time
dark part of
coming.
me. I think I got a little bit of darkness in me sometimes because I can't leave the misery. I have to like just be miserable about it. And I think that says a lot about me, unfortunately.
I've kind of been at that point before, and I'm at a point in my life now where I just have too much other shit going on. I need to put my energy somewhere else. I
Hmm.
can't waste time watching this garbage product. Also, I'm a former and current business owner, and like just bad product, regardless of the industry, rings really hard for me. So when
Hmm.
I see bad product, I can't stand it.
Can't do
So
it.
like for and I mentioned this, like I almost stopped being a Jets fan a couple years ago because I really got disgusted that the Jets were putting this product on the field week in, week out. And it to me it feels disrespectful to the fans when you do that
It is.
every year for a decade and a half. The last time we
Yeah.
were good was the Rex Ryan Jets, and that was a legitimately good product on the field.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah, that's one of those things where it's like if you don't respect the fans enough to really put forth a true effort and put a good product on the field, I don't need to show you respect back and watch that shit.
Yeah. I'll give you an example. I remember, I don't know if this is the perfect example because they were in the playoffs technically, but what was it, 2022 when the Mets were in the wild card playoffs against the
Uh-huh.
Padres?
hmm
That first game, dude, I can't remember the last time I was so excited for a game. Mets hadn't been in the playoffs in years. I was pumped. We had Max Scherzer. I don't even remember who else was on that team because it feels like a decade ago at this point. But like, just absolutely shit the bed. And I made myself watch that entire game. They didn't stand, I think it was like
So
eight
you're
nothing
just
after like the
punishing
second inning.
yourself at that like that. You're legitimately
Yeah,
punishing yourself.
punishing myself. Sunday afternoon.
Is that how
There
you
was other
think about it
games.
in the moment though? Like I'm
Yep,
just okay.
100%. I'm like, I can't leave. I have to. Because you know what? It's twofold. The optimist in me is like, there's a chance. You never know. There's a chance.
You pull off that crazy upset or
Yeah,
comeback.
it's happened before.
It's
And then the
possible.
other part of me is like, you deserve this for watching this stupid shit. You know,
See,
for
that's the
liking this
thing that
stupid
worries
fucking
me
team.
about this season. If Rodgers stays healthy, like Rodgers is the one thing in the last 15 years where I'm like, fuck, we kind of have a chance in every game, even if we're down
Yeah,
30.
dude, the ball was zipping out of his hand.
And
He
the
had his arm strength
accuracy,
back.
the dead play to Alan Lazard,
Oh yeah,
like the accuracy
perfect.
is there too. This is see that's the thing, and I think it was Bart Scott that mentioned it today or yesterday, on ESPN was that he said, um, yeah, this is basically like preseason for them and Aaron Rodgers with not having played in effectively like damn near 2 years.
Yeah,
Um, rust for him is 2 inches off where it's supposed to be, and that's exactly what happened on the third down play to Garrett Wilson, the sliding catch he was trying to get to him.
That looked like rust.
It literally was just like two
Yeah,
inches off, and the
it
defender
was
was
just
able
too
to
close to the
just
defender.
break that up.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's one of those things that it's like that's why I'm not sky is falling mentality right
dude,
now because
all
this
you
is
gotta do is
all
win 10,
correct.
11 games.
This is all correctable though.
10, 11 games, that's what,
I
six
think
or
you need
seven
more than
losses?
that because Buffalo right now looks
Wild card, man.
way better than I thought they would. I think you're gonna need 12 to get even a wild card.
You think?
I
AFC's
think it's
tough.
gonna yeah, I think it's
AFC
gonna be
is tough.
really
I think it's 10 or 11 in
pet.
the NFC.
Yeah, I agree with
But
that. I think it's gonna be really competitive. I still see the Niners possibly getting there again because Brock Purdy looks fucking solid. Like solid,
dude,
solid. Like he looks really good.
he does absolutely. He looks great.
I'm not here
Yeah.
for the Brock Purdy slander.
I mean, like, dude, no one. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's
Quoting you.
what?
quoting you,
Nice,
except
nice. The callback there. Dude, honestly, I just talk most of the time. I don't remember what I say. It's just words that come out.
at least some of your
Um,
stuff is coherent though, not my co-host who says
he really just talks.
Nick Vrabel. I said so they're gonna be like the Lions when he said they were gonna be winless, and he said no,
Dude.
they won last week.
That one cracked me up
I was
today.
like, Chris, God damn it, the winless Lions from like 8 years ago,
Like
whenever it
obviously
was.
I'm talking about that, Chris. Come on. And then the one I'll never forget. We're ripping Chris for a minute. We love him,
That's
but
fine. Yeah.
the one I'll never forget is when he was saying that Nolan Ryan was one of the best Mets pitchers of all time. Dude was terrible on the Mets. He was here for a season and a half. They traded him away because he couldn't throw strikes.
The entire draft episode. Everybody just go back and listen to the
Oh my
NFL
God.
draft. We did a mock NFL draft live. And to say Matt and I were baffled throughout that episode was an understatement.
If you ever want to see true lack of preparation, just personified,
I'm
was
pretty
Chris.
sure that we both legitimately thought we were being punked at one point, though.
Yeah.
Because there's no way he kept coming like every third or like every other pick he made. We were just like either the person was taken like right before,
Yeah.
or it was like somebody that should be in the third round.
Yeah, I remember he said Blake Corum for one of them, I believe. Which,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, I think Blake Corum's gonna be good, but he was drafted in the 4th round, I believe. Like it wasn't even close.
Didn't he do him in like the back end of the first or
Blake
middle of
Corum?
the first? Yeah.
I thought he was later on.
No. I'm saying Chris.
Oh yeah, no, he did it like
Yeah.
the 23rd pick. Yeah, I was like, Chris, what are you talking about, dude?
The fact that he pulled Blake Corum out though showed that he knows something.
He knows college football. He paid
Right,
attention a little
yeah.
bit, but it's fine. You
Oh,
want to talk a
man.
little bit of baseball?
Yeah, we could fit that in real
Am I
quick.
taking? Did I just take over the host? I'm sorry.
Hey, go right ahead. I love it. I love the go ahead. I don't know
Well,
what
I'm
the fuck
excited,
trying to
man.
say. God damn it.
I'm pumped. I'm
should
loving this
be.
Mets team.
You should
They're
be.
so much fun. They got a hard schedule. They got a hard schedule coming up, but you know what? Fuck the Phillies. Fuck the Braves.
Yeah.
Fuck all of them. I don't even remember who else they're playing, to be honest. I'm going next Friday against the
Nice.
Phillies. Should be a good game.
Oh, against the
But-
Phillies? Okay. That's gonna be a rowdy game. I love it.
Is it crazy of me to say that they're going to make the division race interesting?
I see. I haven't on. I'm gonna sound like I'm bullshitting. I honestly haven't said it, but I've been thinking that. I'm like, they're really climbing up
This-
there. I mean, they're
if it
8
was a
behind the
normal year,
Phillies.
I would say like you're crazy. I would say like that's stupid. But
Or if
they
they
have
started
7 games left against the Phillies.
if
7.
they start, well, that's huge.
And they
If
are
they
exactly
started
7 games out.
if they started this like a half a month or a month earlier, I think legitimately they'd be there neck and neck with the Phillies.
Yeah.
Um,
Phillies are a good
Yeah.
team. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
I think it's going to end up being the Mets might be able to steal the second wild card, but in reality, it's probably going to be
they
San
still have-
Diego, Arizona, and New
They
York.
still have third sole possession up by a game.
Yeah.
Diamondbacks overtook the first wild card. Okay.
So I'm still cautiously optimistic. When
because they could just keep
I'm-
flip flopping and
Yeah.
you don't play them, right? Either of
no,
them?
we're done playing it, but we own the
Okay.
tiebreaker with both.
Oh, okay. That's interesting
So-
then. If they somehow start to flounder.
That's all we need.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You guys just
The
played
moment
them.
that I will figure
3
out that
series
I'm
ago.
like truly excited for this team, because right now I'm excited, but I'm cautiously excited.
Mhm.
'Cause I know how the Mets operate.
Yeah.
I know that they get your hopes up a lot of times and just squash them. But that series, I don't remember when it is. The series against the Braves. I think it's the second to last series.
You have
If
Philly,
they come out and win 2 out of
Washington-
3,
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it's
Philly, Washington.
Philly, Washington, Philly, Atlanta, Milwaukee.
Yeah. So that Atlanta series, because like Philly is what it is. Realistically, like, yeah, we need to beat everyone, to be honest, but it's not as big as the Atlanta series because that's literally the team that's chasing you.
Yeah,
If they come out and win 2 out of 3 in that Atlanta series in Atlanta,
but they're kind
I'm
of
in.
flat.
I'm in for the World Series.
They're kind of floundering. I'm also like, if you
They have a
can
ton of injuries.
give me one for sure. If you could get 2, that's fucking great.
I think
I'm
they have to
really
win 2.
I'm really honing in on the Phillies series. Because I want the mentality. I want eyes forward, not behind.
I agree.
I want
Just
to
keep
hunt.
winning.
I want to hunt the fucking Phillies.
Just keep winning.
Um,
Well, that's the thing. Every game is important at this point. They really, I believe it's somebody figured it out that like they need to get really like 90 to 91 wins,
mhm.
and that would put them at 10-6 the rest of the way. 10-6 is doable, but you
It's
got to win a
doable.
lot of hard games.
Yeah,
You got to sweep the Nationals
you're 2 games over
two times,
500
right?
essentially in that stretch.
You got to essentially go 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6 against the Nationals, right? Because they end against the Nationals, you said?
No, and against Milwaukee,
I
Philly,
fucking hate
Philly,
Milwaukee.
Washington,
You
Philly.
ever have like random teams that you just hate playing because they never
Yeah,
play well against them? Who is it for the Yankees? It's not the Twins, I know that.
Rays for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Rays, they just have our number this season. Not as much. They've
Oh,
kind of
the
come back
Astros for the
to.
Yankees, duh.
Well, yeah, but that's like a legitimate rivalry at this point.
Yeah, it's become that.
And Baltimore was funny enough the opposite. We always annihilated them, and they
Yeah.
finally have gotten good. And they
Well,
had our
they're
number.
like limping to the playoffs at this point.
I know they have the first wild card, I think. Yeah, they have the first wild card spot, up by 4.5 games, and
Wait, can I
then
make
they
comments about Baltimore for a second?
go ahead.
When we were there, I don't know
Yeah,
if you caught this. Did you hear what the guy was saying to Chris? And I'm gonna elaborate for our listeners
when we were
in a
at our
second.
seats.
Yeah.
No,
So keep in mind,
I don't. I
I want
don't
to lay the
remember.
scene
I
for
don't remember
everyone.
much of that day, to be
That's
honest.
fair. Neither does Chris. But that was the point. But let's lay the scene now. We're
half
sitting in
half the
Camden
party fell
Yards.
asleep at our seats.
Yeah, that was the moment I knew we weren't going anywhere after, but it's fine.
Sorry, go
Um,
ahead.
let's lay
Set
out
the
the scene
scene.
here. We're sitting in left field of Camden Yards, solid seats. We're vibing, we're feeling good. And keep in mind, to my left, I'm sitting behind a row of all Oriole fans and Chris to the right. To my left is his cousin JJ. Shout out JJ if he's
Oh yeah,
listening. In a Alex
Yankees.
Rodriguez jersey, an A-Rod jersey in Baltimore.
He was
They're
gonna
not only
not be the
rivals.
only he was gonna not be the only one, but I decided to wear the Sloop jersey. Shout out to the Sloops.
Shout out to the Sloops. But he put it on that morning. I was like, "You're an idiot, man. You're gonna get yelled at." Not a single person said a word to him yet.
That was the weirdest thing. Like all the pre-gaming and everything, nobody said anything.
Nobody.
I thought he would have got heckled.
So did I. And you know what?
Weird.
Chris got heckled, dude. Chris, somebody saw the Mets tattoo on Chris's arm, and they said, "Oh, dude, Mets, you guys suck," and like started heckling him. I'm like,
wrong
guys,
New York team, fam. You know that you're rivals with the fucking Yanks, right?
wrong
Like,
team. First off, and second off, we're the same. Orioles and Mets history. Look back, we both suck.
that's
Like we
that's
both suck for
so
90% of our history.
That's
Why are
so
you coming after
strange.
us?
You should be brothers in arms. Like
Dude, I literally said that to him. I was like, we should be in this together. Like we're both getting good. Like let's do this together.
Other than that guy, shout out to honestly, I hate to say it because I'm the Yanks fan, but Orioles fans are dope.
Yeah.
They do dope games. Like the game was fun to watch.
They know
Good,
how to tailgate, that's for sure.
decent food. It wasn't that great.
No, the
Need to
crab
step-
overdoes it for me.
need to step that up. But other than that, Baltimore, dope city. I salute.
I agree.
I enjoyed myself.
I had a great time there. But anyway, back to baseball.
Yeah, Yanks are 2 games above the Orioles for
There's
first
2
place
games
right
now. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Nothing happened.
They're 2 games above. I think it's bullshit because the Yanks. I'm just so mad at them that I don't think they deserve to. They got a big win last night or the night before.
Are you nervous about
Um,
the Yankees going into playoffs?
Yes, I think they're going to lose in the first round.
In the first round. All right. You got standings up in front of you?
Yeah,
Oh, Dylan's in the dark.
this happened last time.
Ooh. Spooky. All right, there you
We're
go.
back.
You got standings in front of you?
Yes, I do.
All right, who are the other division leaders? I can't even remember. Kansas City?
We have the Guardians,
Guardians.
Guardians in Houston.
Okay, Kansas City's a wild card team, right? So
Say
if
that
the season
again?
ended today, they would be what seed?
The Yanks.
Yeah.
I
I just looked this up recently, so I remember I do have it off the top of my head how it works.
How do I look at like?
Yankees in 10
Who has the best rec? It's by record the first 3. It's the first 3 division.
Yanks have the best record. Still,
Okay, so they
which
would
is
be the
fucking
first seed.
wild to me that they're still that much far ahead of everyone
So I
else.
believe they would play the winner, whoever the lower seed coming out of the wild card round is. So we don't know who they would play yet.
If a season ended today, it'd be the worst wild card team would be the Twins.
So there's a wild card round first. They don't play in that if they're the 1 seed.
Duh.
1 and 2 seed don't play. The bottom 4 seeds play. So it would be 3 versus 6 and 4 and 5. So whoever is the lowest seed coming out of that round, so say the Who's in sixth right now? Who's this third wild card? Boston?
The Twins, like I said.
Twins.
Yeah.
So it would be the Twins. Say they win somehow. They always seem to find the Twins in the playoffs. I feel bad for the Twins at this point.
That's another team that is like a pain in our ass, but no, they had our number this year a good amount of the time.
They're a good team, man, but they seem to
They're a fucking
always
gnat
struggle in the
is what they
playoffs.
are. They're a gnat. They're
Yeah.
just annoying.
Though that's like their identity is just like hack away.
I didn't know the Tigers were doing that well. The Tigers are right
Yeah,
behind
Tigers are surging.
them. They're 3.5 games out from the third wild card spot.
Yeah, and I think they're close to their division too. I think they're close to the division leader too. I think the Guardians?
They're last.
Yeah?
No, they're second to last. Sorry, the White Sox are last.
Yeah, but how many games back?
9.
Oh, maybe I misread that. All right. That was a Chris take.
Kansas City is 4 games behind Cleveland.
Dude, Kansas City, watch out for that team. I'm rooting for Kansas City because I love Seth Lugo, and the Mets should have given him a chance to be a starter.
I agree
Just
with
throwing it out
that.
there.
But yeah, I don't feel good about the Yanks at all. Our bullpen is shit. Our hitting seems to be. I mean, Soto had the like career damn near career defining moment in the last game.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, where he gets hit. It looks like it's gonna be a bad injury. Comes in, hits the fucking go ahead home run. Yeah, it's weird. Judge is slumping right now. Soto before that heroic hit is not. He's like
Oh,
he was like
hang on, I muted
2
you
of
guys.
something.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been great. It hasn't looked great. I'm not thrilled about us ending the season this way. If we can
No.
surge in these last few series, then I'll feel a lot better. But the Yankees also have in this era, in the Judge era, we'll call it. They just don't have a good track record in the playoffs, like at all.
No, they don't. But also keep in mind that if they win the division, they get a break, which could be good, could be bad. You know, we saw how it worked for the Braves last year and how they used it as an excuse for losing. Anyway,
Yeah.
had to throw that in there. But yeah, I got to be honest, once you get past Judge and Soto, it's like I know Wells is doing well now. Wells is
It gets
doing
real
well.
weak.
It gets real weak real quick. There's not
Yeah.
a lot of dogs back there, honestly.
No, it's
Um,
we started the season with a lot more hope. The lineup seemed a lot more stacked.
mhm.
Now it's like once you get past cleanup, it just falls apart. And you have a
Yeah.
bunch of guys that I like at certain points in the season. You have guys that I'm like, who is that?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that their accountant that just happened to come on and play for today?
They just
Like
needed a third baseman for the day.
random as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Rizzo back now though.
Okay, that's huge. Just for defense, that's huge.
We called up Dominguez.
Really?
Yeah, we
How did I
brought,
miss that?
we brought him back up. I don't know if it's a permanent thing or not, but he got a hit in one of these last few games. And
If
I
he's
think,
here, he's got to play.
I think it's because Verdugo got hurt. I
Good.
forget.
If
I
he's
forget why
here,
we brought him back
That's
up.
not a guy you call up to sit on the bench.
I wouldn't mind it because I for some reason if they didn't call him up, now I think he's gonna make the playoff roster. But if they didn't call him up, I wouldn't be surprised if they just left him off the roster as a whole.
Yeah, but
I'd
what's
rather
the-
have
I
him
know,
on
but
the
like,
roster as a bench
what's
player.
the point of bringing him up and let him sit on the bench?
I
Let him get at
w-
bats at that point.
I would agree. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck the Yankees are doing. I'm not even gonna try to figure them
Well,
out.
on the
They're-
plus side, I don't think
Boone
the entirety of the
confuses the shit
AL
out
is
of
really
me.
playing that well.
No.
There's nobody that on that list that really terrifies you.
When you somehow still have the Yankees as the best record in the AL from what I'm seeing right now. Yep.
Mm.
By
But
multiple
some of those
games
wild
other
card
than the
teams, those would
Guardians.
scare me more than the division winners at this point.
You talking about for the AL or just in
Yeah,
general?
I would be more scared of if Detroit can make it just because they're so red hot right now. If Kansas City, I could see making a run. I mean, listen, when you got the second best player in the AL and Bobby Witt, yes, I said second. It's Aaron Judge. It is what it is. Second best player in the AL, you got a chance, and they got pitching and they got defense. So,
Yep.
so there's definitely no team that terrifies you, but there's always a chance.
No, so like my whole thing about being scared in the playoffs and thinking that they're going to get bounced in the first round isn't because of whoever we face.
Yeah.
It's literally because of the Yankees. They
The
for,
Yankees
they
being the
forget
Yankees.
to hit the ball in the playoffs in the last
They
few
do
years.
seem to do that.
They legitimately just have no idea how to hit a baseball anymore.
That being
Um,
said, though, um, obviously I'm not anything close to a Yankee fan, but I am excited to have, and I hope this happens, that both New York teams in the playoffs at the same time. I think it's fun, man. It's cool for the city. It's cool for the area.
That'll be
Like I
dope.
love the back and forth.
Uh,
It's
uh,
fun.
yeah, I pray that in our lifetime we get a World Subway Series.
Dude, I will always be upset that we were like 7 years old, 8 years old when
Yeah.
that happened,
And
like
when I
not
say in
old
our
enough to
lifetime, I mean
understand.
in our coherent
Yeah,
lifetime.
like as an adult, I just can't imagine, honestly. Imagine going to one of those games,
First of
like
all,
as an adult.
the
It's gotta be insane.
prices, like now
Oh
that
my
we're
God.
adults, we gotta think about that. The prices would be
2 grand just to get
unfathomable,
in the door.
and you sit in front of one of the pillars
Yeah, exactly.
or behind. Um, but yeah, I have a. I don't know if I should save it for a year. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it now. Um, sorry, Chris, but I at this point don't think Soto is gonna come back to the Yanks. I
That's
said it.
so interesting because I actually do.
I said it. No, I think that with my biggest fear for this season was that the Yanks get into a bad slump and Soto sees how vile Yankee fans are.
They are vile, honestly. That's a perfect word.
I am one. I'm not one of the ones that call up
No,
ESPN radio spewing the dumbest shit I've
no.
ever heard.
Yeah, it's bad.
But yeah, Yankees fans, like 70% of them are really fucking stupid and
Yeah,
don't know sports. Like they're just one of these entitled fucking people that thinks that we should be winning championships every year, spending
yeah.
all this money, all this stuff, and it really, really annoys me. And it's one of the things that really turns me off about fellow Yankee fans.
Dude, it's like clockwork every trade deadline season. I see some Yankee fan be like, "Oh, you think we could trade Kyle Higashioka for Mike Trout?"
Yep,
Like
yep.
that would be I don't see why they would
And
say
they're
no.
dead serious.
And dead
Dead
serious, not
serious.
a joke.
It pisses me off.
I'm like, "Oh boy. Okay. Listen, Mets fans aren't perfect. We have our own
No, but
issues and we get dark we boo real quick." But
but just like I saw in that video on social media, a lot of character development.
yeah.
So I
To
think
be
that's
honest, I
one.
wouldn't blame Juan Soto if he ran away from both New York teams. You
I mean,
know?
I think your lows are higher than with the Mets than they are with the Yankees.
Yeah, I've always said this about Yankee fans.
I think you
Pity
Mets
isn't the
fans.
word.
I think you Met fans treat him as a god if he comes to you, and he could do no wrong.
Eh, you'd be
I
surprised.
I think that by and
I've
large,
noticed
I
one
think
thing
that
about Mets fans is that if you are a homegrown talent, you have all the leash in the world. Like Brandon Nimmo and Pete Alonso right now, nobody is talking about how bad they're doing. But if you are signed to a big contract, the expectations are through the roof.
yeah,
Look at Lindor. Perfect example. Guy makes $30 million a year, which honestly at this point is not an insane contract
he's turned it around though. But
for
he
an
was
above
everybody
average
fucking hated
shortstop.
him
But
like last year and part of the year
but
before.
dude, look at his stats from the last few years.
No,
They're
he was
exactly the same as they were in Cleveland. We got
yeah.
exactly what we paid for.
Okay. I thought he was.
Um,
Oh no. Yeah, he was better. I think the year before, right in Cleveland,
yeah.
like that was
The
his big
first year
year.
here was not perfect. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible.
Right.
But like to be honest though, look at how much people hated him until this year.
And now
There
he's
was
the
people trying to trade him, trying to get first off, he's worth 30 million on his defense alone.
yes,
He could have that defense and hit 250 and 20 home runs and 80
and
RBIs, and he's worth it.
and he's the NL MVP this year.
Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. You just
Le
made my night by saying that
legit.
because the problem is,
He
Dylan,
legitimately is.
I know it's not
I
going to
get
happen.
I get Otani is going for 50-50, never been done before. That's great.
That's not true,
That is
dude.
that
Is it true?
yeah, it's never been done.
I thought Acuna did it.
I keep hearing it's never been done. I honestly haven't
Maybe
dug
he only
into the
had
stats because
40.
I'm just believing everybody, honestly.
I
Bad
don't
move
know any
by me,
better.
but
I'm not a statistician.
it's not important. Dodger
Statistician? Statistician.
stat
Statistician.
status.
None of
Shit.
them sound right.
No, it's one of the what I don't know what it's called, but when a word doesn't sound real,
Yeah, it's gone.
status.
It's just sounds at this
Fuck.
point.
Okay, no, we're gonna lose ourselves. I don't care about the Dodgers like that. Because they do the same thing as the Yankees, except they've been markedly more successful in the last 5 years.
They do what the Yankees do, but better.
Yeah. But yeah, no, my whole thing is like if you want to give like craziest season award, you give it to Otani. You like not even a question.
Yeah, but that's not. There's a hitting award though.
Okay. Well, that it also encompasses stealing, so that's not just hitting.
Okay.
But no, what I'm gonna say, what I said in the previous episode was that it's the most valuable player award. It's if you take that player off the team, it shows their value by what that team would be without
You
them.
take Lindor off the Mets, they're 10 games out of a wild card game.
Yep.
10 games at
Yep.
least.
They're last in their division.
They're a
more than
bad
likely.
team without him.
And that's what I'm saying. You take Otani off the Dodgers, that you take maybe a few wins
Dude, they
off
have the
their
same
but
record through
by
this many
and-
games.
By and large, they're the same team.
They have the same
Um,
record as last year.
So that's what bothers me, and not even just baseball, in all sports, what the MVP has become, because it's not the most valuable player award. It's the most
It's just
popular.
whoever has the most home runs or most RBIs or
That's what it
whatever.
is for baseball, but in general, it's like the popularity award.
It really is, unfortunately. It's sad to see, but
It's the quarterback award in the NFL.
he's my
it's
MVP.
Yeah, he's mine. Honestly, he's mine too.
Listen,
Not even gonna
storm the MLB headquarters. We're rioting
I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter.
strongly, strictly worded.
It's gonna be
Strict.
those words are gonna be strict as hell.
They're gonna know. They're gonna know how strict you are about it.
Oh man, let's go to sleep, man.
Yeah, I'm fading.
That's the Any Sports Podcast. Talk about anything, any given time, whatever. But
Whatever Chris says at this point.
there we go. I'm Dylan.
I'm Matt.
See y'all next week.